Hi, nice to meet you again. So, the last video I have many positive feedback, so that's why I invited Fanfi again.
Hello.
Hello.
Let's do this together.
Yes. So today we are going to talk about inventory. Okay. Next slide is agenda. Okay. Firstly, let me define the scope of inventories. For the sales company, the merchandise is the inventory. For the manufacturing company, so we have the three types of the inventory. First one is the raw materials, and the second one is work in progress, and the last one is finished goods. Okay, so let's take an example for the cake. Okay, cake. To make the cake, so
we need a raw material, like
milk, and
flour, water,
butter,
eggs, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So and then after that, mix everything together. Okay, and then go into the oven.
Put it into the oven.
Put it in the oven. Wait, and then at last we can get the cake and the finished goods. So, and the work in progress is the work in progress. So that's why in the oven. So
it's not cake yet.
it's not the cake
yet.
It's
work in progress.
Work in progress. Okay, and the supplies. Supplies is not the inventory. Okay. So do you have any questions so far?
What is the supplies? How can you define supplies or the raw materials?
Raw materials. Okay. So supplies is the to be used during the manufacturing process. So in case of the cake, so glove is the supplies. So because very hot oven, so when you move the cake, the glove is very useful. The glove is the supplies in this case. Okay?
But it's not a raw material.
Not raw materials. Okay. So because glove is not part of the finished goods cake, so supplies. Okay.
Okay, understand.
Okay. So can I ask them one questions?
Sure.
Okay. So we studied the PPE last time. So what is the difference between the PPE and inventory here? Do you remember?
So PPE is the fixed asset, right? If you don't remember its PPE, please access to here.
Okay. Yes.
For the fixed asset lecture. So PPE is like plant, machines, and blah blah blah. So buildings.
Land.
So for the cake example, the bakery, the house, the bakery house itself, or the oven is PPE.
Yes.
They are using to produce the cake, but they are not part of the. They're not the inventory.
Yes.
We don't sell them. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Perfect answer. Good. You study very hard. Okay. So the next question is to you. So as you said, the inventory is the BS part. So how do you calculate the amount of inventory?
Just how much I paid to the vendor, the price that I purchased the inventory. That's the amount.
So this is actually this answer is perfect. The 50%.
Not perfect.
50% correct. Okay. So if you go to the next slide, so you can understand. So the two parts. So in addition to the purchase price, as you said, plus in the trading expense. Trading expense is like a freight, insurance, warehousing cost, and customs. Blah blah blah. So you need to add the trading expense to the purchase price, and then you can get original cost. Okay. So my question to you: what is a freight?
Freight is the delivery cost. Like I pay the truck, pay the plane, pay the ship to deliver my raw material to me.
Okay.
That's the freight.
You're right. Okay. So the freight costs should be included in the purchase price. This is very important. Please remember. Okay. So next slide, let's talk about Incoterms. Okay. So what is the Incoterms? The two things. Okay. The first one is when the timings, the transfer the titles from the seller to the buyers. Okay. The ownership. The title, in other words, is the ownership. When do you transfer the ownership from the seller to the buyer? Okay. This is the first point. And the second point is the scope of the trading expense. Okay, these two parts. Okay, and and the most very frequently used the Incoterms is the FOB and the CIF. Okay, FIB, CIF. Can you give me the full names of the FOB and the CIF?
FOB is free on board.
Okay.
CIF is cost, insurance, and freight.
Yes, you're right. So, and from the buyer point of view, okay, which the Incoterms, either FOB or CIF is preferred for the buyers?
If I am the buyer, of course I would prefer CIF.
Yes.
Means the title of the product only transferred to me when the goods delivered to my place, to my
Yes,
loading,
import port. Yes.
unloading port, right? And also when until then, all the expense, the freight, insurance, blah blah blah, all paid by the seller, not by me. So
Yes.
I would prefer CIF.
You're right. Good. You understand very well. Okay. So the Incoterms very important, especially for the import and export business. Okay. So this is the last slide. Okay. So finally, to calculate the ending balance. Okay. So let's imagine the January 1 month. Okay. The January 1 month. So the goods movement happens. Goods movement means the purchase from the inventory from the suppliers, and then the sell the inventory to the customers. So purchase, sales, this is a goods movement. So at last, so the end of the January, how much amount of the inventory should be stated in the BS balance sheet? This is a point, the last point today. Okay. So okay, this is the tables, the transactions. Okay, the
Example, right?
example, yeah. So in this case, so can you calculate the ending balance? Is that okay? Can I go to the next page? Okay, this is to calculate the ending balance. This diagram is very useful. So can you calculate the ending balance?
So in the 1 month, how many times we purchase the inventory? We put on the left side, and left side also have the beginning inventory.
Yes,
like from the first day of the month, how much we have. And on the right side should put on how much we sold, how much quantity, the product we sold. We put on the COGS, and then the end inventory. The balance of left and right, we can calculate end inventory, how much we have at the end of the month. So simply as stated in this slide, the unit price of the ending inventory should be calculated by the total amount we paid.
Yes.
We purchased to purchase the inventory, and divided by the total
amount.
Quantity.
Sorry, quantity.
Quantity of all the inventory we purchased this month.
Okay.
So in this case, we have the initial inventory amount plus the 2 times we purchased at each different prices.
Yes, 50,
divided by the beginning quantity 10 plus the 2 times we purchased 30 and 60.
60. Total 100.
Then give us the unit price of 57.
57. Okay.
That's the end inventory unit price.
Yeah, this is the average unit price. Okay. And then after that?
After that, the average in unit price times the ending inventory amount should be the amount of our ending inventory.
Yes, you're right. Perfect. So this is a periodic method. Okay. So actually we have another method. So the perpetual method. Can I go to the next slide? This is a perpetual. So perpetual method is that every times. So every transactions, so you need to calculate the unit price each times. So the perpetual method is more complicated,
Focus on the real time.
Yeah, real times rather than the periodic. Okay, so please go through this one if you're interested in this one. And yeah, so this is the problems from the US CPA.
Yeah, if you are going to take the US CPA exam, this is something you need to understand. But for the normal company operation, the previous method is most frequently being used.
Yes, you're right. Okay. Okay, so that's all for today. Here's the next topics. Thank you for the watching today.
Looking forward to see you again. Bye
See you. Bye.